G'day everyone. This is going to be a very short tutorial going through just a couple of very basic aspects of Sqliteman, so i.e. like getting started with SQLite. We're going to look at opening a database, writing a query, executing a query, viewing the query, and then saving the query, which is pretty much the main functionality of what you'll be using Sqliteman for. Okay, so obviously I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you've already got Sqliteman installed. So I'm using Ubuntu here, but I imagine the majority of you guys will probably be using Windows or Mac. So go to wherever you need to go to in order to launch the program. So I'm going to launch Sqliteman. Now, if it comes up blank here, do not worry whatsoever. It should come up blank. I was playing with a database beforehand. That's why we've still got the remnants of that. So in order to open a database, it's very simple. You just go to File, Open, navigate to wherever you've got the database stored. I'm not sure exactly what's going to be used for the first tutorial, but I believe it's the video stored database. How to access that off the Blackboard site will be something that will be discussed and given to you in the tutorial. But we get the database, we open it up. It actually comes up and it shows all the tables. It actually gives you a very good overview of the database. Now, there's a lot of information contained within here about each of the tables and the table properties, but for what we're doing within this class, or at least at this point in time, you don't have to understand any of that. In fact, you can pretty much ignore this entire field or this entire box completely, because you won't be using it. Okay, what you will be using is this box here, which is the SQL query editor. So that's what we're teaching you right now. And so we'll start off with something very basic. I'm assuming you guys have only just been through the first week's material, so you've only just looked at very basic select statements. So we see here one of the tables within the database is category. So let's just say I want to select all of the information from category. So select star, remembering that star is the wildcard for select all of the columns. So select all from category, semicolon, and then to execute the SQL, you just click run. And we see here that the output is actually given here. Now, in this situation, the category table is actually very small. We see that it only has 2 columns and it has 5 records contained within it, or 5 rows. As you can imagine, with some of the databases that you're going to be working with, especially with the assignment, there could literally be, well, many columns and thousands upon thousands of records. Now, if that was the case and you wanted to be able to have a look at the full database, if it was too compressed within this output view here, you can just click this little icon here. You'll see it comes up with a table snapshot link. We just click upon that, and basically this just opens out in a new window where we can maximize it to full screen and look at the data in more detail. Again, obviously we only have 2 columns, 5 records, so it doesn't really add to anything. It was perfectly fine with what we had before, but let's just say there were thousands of entries. It would give a scroll bar and you'd be able to go up and down and look at them. Okay, so once you finish looking at it, just click close. Now, so far we've gone through how to open a database, how to, well, what we're going to teach you in the lectures is how to write queries, but how to write queries, how to execute the queries, and then how to be able to look at them in a full screen format. The next important thing is obviously to be able to save the query so that you can look at it later. Now, you don't have to do this, but just to make it easier for you as you're going through week by week, I recommend just creating a folder for each of the tutorials. So tutorial 1 in this situation, and then as the tutorials go along, you can then save the individual queries in each of those tutorials. Just makes it easier so there's no overlapping and you're not getting confused. But if you don't want to do it that way, by all means, it's up to you. Okay, so I want to save it, so we click the Save As. We go to navigate to wherever you want to save it into. As I said before, I want to save it within this tutorial 1 folder. Let's just say this was question 1 for the tutorial. So question1.sql. Click Save, and there we have it. So now we've saved the query. So if I want to create a new query, you just click the New button. We now are onto a new query, and be very careful because a lot of people, actually I'll explain in a second. So let's just write another query for instance. Let's just say I want to select everything from the video table. So select all from video. Okay, so let's run that. Again, we see here, not exactly a big table. Everything can be easily seen and interpreted just in the output window that we've got here. So let's just save this. So save as, going into tutorial 1, and let's just say this is question 2. Okay, now once you finish with the application, the query, and you want to go on to the next one, some people, and it's understandable, I did this myself when I first used Sqliteman, will go, alright, delete, write something new. So let's say select all from format as an example, and then we'll say hit the save button. So what you've actually just done, and just say you've spent a long time writing the previous query and the original query, you've just overwritten that previous one. So the previous one where we selected everything, oh my memory's terrible, from the customer table or wherever it was, has now been replaced with this. So if we want to open a query, so we just click the open icon going into it. Question 2 wasn't about format, it was about something else. So make sure that once you've finished writing a query that you want to go on to writing a new query, that you hit the new button to make sure that you don't override the existing query. So you can imagine if you're in an assignment situation, you spent hours writing a query, you finally got it all to work, you then go, highlight, save, highlight it all, delete, start writing the next one, then click save without clicking the save as, and it's an easy mistake to make, clicking that one as opposed to clicking this one, and then you've just overwritten what you've had for the previous question, which would be very frustrating. So just be very careful that when you go onto a new command that you hit that. So okay, what we've gone through so far: opening a database, writing a query, executing a query, looking at it in full screen mode, saving the query, and then also going through making sure that you don't make any mistakes with overwriting existing queries. And then, as I showed before, if you want to open a query, you just click this little icon here, it'll come up, you go to wherever you've got it stored. Let's just say we want to open up the first one, and category was the first one we looked at. Okay, so that's all that we're going to go through in this tutorial. This will be the first in a number of tutorials that will be done for this unit covering SQL queries. If you've got any queries whatsoever, either about this video or about Sqliteman in general, please send me an email or leave a message, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Okay, thank you, bye.